bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear. And today we have the pleasure sitting with Christian Kyrou and Brett Harrison. But two young guys I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the last bunch of years, and obviously came to the academy together, played a little bit of minor hockey together. You guys did, and now are both pursuing a career trying to play junior hockey in the OHL. And so I wanted to have you guys on just talk about kind of what that whole journey was like. It's fresh for you guys. A lot of times I talk with older guys that are playing in the NHL or that are kind of moved on, and when they kind of recount minor hockey and then it's like a long time ago, but for you guys it's pretty fresh. So first of all, talk Christian, how you doing, buddy? And what's this whole COVID thing been like for you? How's all that been?
Well, yeah, I feel like as soon as I got back, I've just been training with my brother also. You got back too, and it's been a grind ever since I got in the league. You just got to keep training hard, and
no, for sure. Hard. How's the whole pandemic been for you guys? Like, kind of been like, because you're a social guy, being out with buddies and hanging out, and I know it's been better as it's gone on. But when everything got locked down at the beginning, was it just weird as far as going from social and doing stuff to like all of a sudden everything kind of gets shut
just
down?
trapped in a cage basically. Just back at home. Yeah.
Did your dad have a list of like drills you had to do every day? And stick out, like stuff
so
every
we
day?
got a little setup in the basement, so we've just been down there like 5 hours a day, just been grinding. So yeah.
No, that's good. And then what about you, Harry? How's everything been for you guys, like through the pandemic and stuff like that? How's it been?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Just training in the basement. It was a tight area, but we had some Zoom calls with Mitch, so it was pretty good. And just shooting pucks, trying to stay busy. Like
that's good.
It was definitely weird.
That's good. Now, did Timmy have the whip in his hand when he was cracking it, or was it just hanging on the wall, just so you knew, like, okay, I got to keep going?
He was fine. He's working from home right now too. So
you kind of had everybody at home probably, right? Like
but my mom's back at work now, and my sister's working as well. So
all right, good. And so for you guys, I'm gonna ask you a quick question, but I know you guys played a little bit of minor hockey together, obviously, and then I've been buddies for a while. But I'll start with you first, Kai. So what was kind of your first memory or your first thing that you can remember about? Harry, was it him tripping over the blue line? Was it him maybe?
Well, yeah, I feel like the first memory was definitely, I just passing the puck, defensive zone. You just went end to end, just scored. I just got a nice apple. So
for you, you're just
that's
like,
where it all started. I just got to feed this guy.
My job's gonna be easy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
No, but for you, like, was it one of those things where you saw him and he could play, he could skate? I'm sure you guys knew of each other a little bit, kind of growing up, because I think it was Pee Wee when you guys started playing together, right?
Yeah.
So Adam, minor Pee Wee stuff, you kind of knew who each other were, I'm sure, a little bit.
Yeah.
But then when you got to like meet him and stuff, I'm sure when you guys played against each other or even knew about another kid that was good, you're like, that guy sucks. I don't like that guy. Like, if you didn't know him, right? That's just kind of natural.
Yeah.
It's brutal, but that's kind of how we all are, especially as young kids. Like, plays on that team, he's brutal. And then when you got to know him, what was your first impression when you kind of got to know him, or after you got to know him a little bit?
Yeah, this guy's a great guy. Like, off the ice too, like, he's a great guy. You can't just judge a guy, but just by on the ice.
No,
right? Just by the way he plays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but yeah,
that is true for sure. And then for you, what was your first memory, Harry, of Kai?
I have a couple first memories. So I remember his first goal as we played on the Chiefs together. I remember his first goal. It was a pass back to the blue line, and he rips a puck and it goes like over everybody's head and just drops in over the top of the goalie's head. Rainbow. It was like a rainbow. It was so funny.
And how was his celly?
He just looked around and he just put his hands up like that. It was hilarious. But,
that was the last game of the season. You guys were up 6-1.
No, I think it was the first tournament of the year, actually.
Oh, wow. Really? Nice. Get in the vault here. What else you got? What's the second memory?
My first off-ice memory was, so we were at the Kamoka Arena, and all the boys we got to the dressing room early, like an hour early. I remember we were like trading hockey cards or something. We would be into that, but Christian it was like roll up the rim time for Tim Hortons. He was going into every single dressing room and looking in the garbage, looking for the roll up the rim, and he found like two winners.
Wow. That's not bad.
Yeah,
a couple
smart.
donuts.
Hey, smart kid.
Yeah, a couple of Boston creams. And I mean, for anybody out there who doesn't know what roll up the rim is, obviously Timmy's does this big thing for like, I think a month where you can roll the rim up, win a bunch of prizes, cash, cars, lots of Timbits, donuts, and coffees. But for anybody who who says they never went in the garbage and grabbed the Tim Hortons cup to check is full of crap, because everyone's like seen a cup on the ground and like,
Oh,
I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Make sure it's like everyone's done it.
Have to, yeah.
Now rummaging through 50, 60 garbage cans. I mean, that's a little different, maybe a little excessive, but that's all right, Kai. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we're not judging.
I mean, yeah, I want a car, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. And obviously for you, Harry, who are some of the influences in your life kind of growing up, as far as, I know your dad played hockey and stuff, but who kind of got you into the game, and who was, as far as like, who did you kind of look up to? And it could have been your dad, could have been somebody that you knew, but was there anybody that kind of had a pretty good influence in getting you involved in hockey when you were young?
Yeah, definitely my dad. That's who first got me into hockey. And I had a power skating coach, Coach Mike, in Dorchester. He was just working with me ever since I'm like 2 or 3 years old.
Cool.
That's what got me into like skating. And then I first started with the Chiefs in Minor Adam. And I remember looking up to Travis Konechny, and I watched his games were after my games, and I would stay and watch him, and he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, it's cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that London surrounding area, there's a lot of guys that have gone on to play, which is wicked. But Chiefs as well, small organization, kind of the outskirts of London, but there's a lot of great players, that have come through it. So it's cool to see a guy like that who's kind of was in the same skates as you were a couple of years, and then all of a sudden now he's got into the OHL and then playing the NHL, and it's good. And now he's being a rat in the playoffs. His hair, his facial hair and stuff. What about you, Kyrou? Was there like anybody kind of, or who got you, I guess, into hockey, number one? And then is there anybody that you looked up to kind of as you were growing up, maybe in kind of like, Harry, someone that played in the NHL, or maybe a brother that you have, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I feel like our dad started this whole thing. He played hockey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he just put us in it, and like he was like, this is what you're doing. Like, you're not doing anything else. Right?
But so Dad, I like soccer. Doesn't matter.
You're doing this, right? So, yeah, just like seeing what my brother did, and, like I just learned so much from him, and I'm still learning from him and stuff, right? Yeah. And, it's all started from my dad. Like, my dad knows so much about hockey, and like he just taught us everything and stuff. So, yeah, it's good to have them there, and like, yeah.
And I think like both your dads, and more so like for parents out there, but both your dads were pretty hands-on. Like I'm sure your dad rented ice when you were young and went and yelled and blew the whistle. But just even sometimes just having fun, getting the ice. I know your dad did a bunch, right? When you guys were in Toronto,
my dad,
stuff.
Like, when I was younger, my dad would skate. Like he would do skates. He would be on the ice with me skating.
Yeah, and I think being involved and stuff is awesome. Now, not every player has the luxury of having a parent that can skate and play or play the game, right? Both your dads played, so it is nice. It is definitely fortunate. Now, do you think that having a dad that played, and I mean, your dad played some junior hockey. I think your dad played junior as well, right? Did he go to college or no?
Yeah, he played a couple years of college.
Yeah, so they both played high level. Now, it's awesome because they have hockey knowledge and they understand, what a curve on a stick is and, all that kind of stuff. But is it sometimes hard because they are competitive and they have played at that level, and sometimes it's like they're kind of, they know, hey, you're not working hard enough, and you can't really hide stuff from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas my dad played a bit, but he wasn't, hey, good game, you played really hard, and I'd be the one like, I didn't play good. I wasn't good tonight, and they weren't. My dad was not hard on me at all. But was there times when having a dad that has that experience, you're like, oh man, I kind of wish you never played the game. Played the game.
Like after every game, it's like if I had a bad game, my dad would tell me about it, which just I think made me like a better player. Like if you just keep saying, oh, he played good, then I don't think you get better. So my dad was definitely hard on me and still pushes me to this day. So I think that's really helped me going forward and just pushing me to be better.
Oh, definitely. Kind of keeps you accountable too, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some days when you play like crap, you did, and you're like, I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear it tonight, but yeah.
Yeah.
And what about you, Kai? Was your dad kind of like that as well? Like kind of.
Well, yeah. When I was younger, I mean, I remember some games that my brother didn't play good in, and he would just give it to him. I mean, like I would be like remembering, oh, I'm next. Like I better dial in. I better dial in here. Yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like it's good. Yeah. I feel like it's good being yelled at. Sometimes I feel like
it's a little old school. Like I know nowadays you can't do. It's hard to get away with yelling or swearing at kids, but I agree. Like I definitely had coaches that were yellers and screamers, and I had different aspects of my life that I got in trouble for, that my parents are hard on me for sure. But I think it is important to have that accountability, and I think one of the biggest things for me growing up was just disappointing. Like if I disappointed my parents because they did something stupid on the ice, or you know what I mean, or whatever it was, right? So you kind of, and I know for you guys too, you get motivated by seeing your dad in the stands, and he's proud of you, but you also know he's watching and he's kind of critiquing. He's got his notepad out in his book and he's taking some notes on how you're playing, right? And then for you, you kind of mentioned a little bit about your brother, but for anyone who doesn't know, Jordan Kyrou obviously played some NHL playoff games this year, which is really, really cool. But what was it like for you kind of having, because I didn't have an older brother going through it, and obviously here, neither do you, but what was it like kind of having an older brother that was just a couple years ahead of you that is kind of not paving the way, but you're kind of seeing a bit of the path that he's going on. Now you could have went a totally different way. You ended up, as of now, kind of going the same, similar path that what he's doing. But what was it like kind of watching that and kind of being around just to see kind of what he's doing and how he's navigating through all this minor hockey and junior hockey and stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a career for sure. I mean, seeing him like do what he did in the OHL and like seeing how it is like these days and like how it is back then. Like obviously there were a lot of like bigger bodies back then. Yeah. I feel like, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like it's good for him. I mean, like it's good for me too to see like where he ended up and like what he had to do to get there. I mean, right? So it's like what I got to kind of do. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And were there things that you heard along the way from him? Let's say like that he got critiqued with either in the OHL or even at the NHL level, where what you got to get stronger, or you got to work harder, or you got to be, were there things like that you remember hearing and you're like, okay, I got to make sure I don't do that. You know what I mean? Almost like avoiding those pitfalls before that next coach comes down to you and says, hey, you got to do this, right? Like, was there things like that you heard that he kind of broke the way a little bit where you're like, hey, or he even told you like, man, make sure it's hard up here or it's way different up here?
Yeah. I mean, like with his Sarnik, which I feel like that he had an incident where he wasn't doing some certain things, so he didn't get played. Right.
Yeah.
So that really clicked in my head. I was like, hey, I shouldn't give a coach a reason to not play me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I got to do everything right.
No, it's great, man, for sure. And then for you here, what about going to the, like, when you guys get out of minor hockey and stuff like that, and I'm going to come back to minor hockey in a second, but when you guys come out of minor hockey, you make that jump, you get drafted to the OHL. It's awesome. Wow, this is great, right? How different was it though? Because I think a lot of guys come out of minor midget or come out of midget. You're 15 years old. You're like, I'm going to play in the O. It's not a big deal. It's going to be, whatever. I'll just play. Yeah. But when you got to the O and you had a whole season there last year, how different was it than how different was the OHL than what you thought it was going to be? Because I think in a lot of minds, like, you were a first round pick and you're like, give me my sticks and skates. I'm going to light it up for 30, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that you thought it was going to be easy, but how different was it than what you thought when you got there and started playing at a higher level like that?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot different. But I was season ticket holders for London, so I've seen a lot of OHL games. So I knew it was fast, bigger, stronger guys. So as soon as I got drafted, the work starts now. So just grinded all summer and then showed up to training camp and I was like, wow, like these guys are good. And so the first couple weeks of training camp, I was just looking up to the older guys, seeing what they're doing, try to adapt to them. And it was definitely a lot bigger and stronger guys. So
yeah, it's one of those things too. Like, you said, like you're a season ticket holder, you watch tons of games, watching your brother, I'm sure. But then when you actually put the jersey on or even the practice jersey on and go on the ice with these guys, you're like, whoa, that's way different than what I'm seeing in the stands. You know what I mean? Especially even the passing's harder. Like I noticed when guys, even the two of you, when you go away and play for a whole season at the OHL level or junior hockey level, and this goes for kids playing junior, like, midget to junior B or junior A tier 2 or the OHL, but especially those higher leagues. So the OHL, I noticed a huge difference when guys come back just on how they skate, how they pass the puck, their pace a little bit. Like, it's crazy, right? Just practicing at that level, you do get better. There's no doubt about it, right? And then for you, Kai, same idea. Like you got, you didn't start up in the year, but you went to camp and stuff, and then got a bunch of games. And what was it like when you started? Like, first of all, going to camp, what was that like for you? Was it what you thought it was going to be, or was it a little bit of like, okay, this is a bit of a wake up. I gotta get it together here.
Well, yeah, obviously I feel like it was kind of a wake up call. Yeah. I mean, like, expecting the older guys to do good and stuff, but like rookie camp, I feel like I was on the top level, with Lockhart and stuff. Lockhart was our first round pick. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the older guys, it's they play hard and stuff. Like you just gotta
Yeah. And they're like a lot of their fundamentals are good, right? Like they pass hard. Yeah. They're a little bit quicker. They're strong. They know how to play like body position. Sometimes they put you in a position where you're like, how did he get the puck off me there? You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I found when I started playing with older guys. Like he did one thing with his stick and I lost the puck and I'm going backwards now when I was going forward. Like they're smart and you guys will get there obviously as you get older and learn these tricks and stuff. But yeah, when you get to that level and you see these guys, you're like, you can see the separation between a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old. and an 18-year-old and a 17-year-old, 16-year-old, right? Like it's you can see that, right? Now that gap closes pretty quick because I'm sure for you by the end of the year playing a whole season, you felt part of the OHL, right?
Yeah, as the season went on, obviously, like just kept learning, kept getting better as the season went on. So,
yeah. And that, I mean, how big of a role would you say confidence plays for a player?
A lot, like tons.
Yeah.
Like when I first came in, I was like a little bit like obviously scared first game, and then just like when you get on a roll, you just like feel great about yourself and you just keep going. So
yeah. You said something there that I want to touch on because scared, like as a hockey guy, which is awesome. Like scared is something that no one wants to ever say as a hockey guy. Like I'm never scared. I'll go anywhere. I'll go to battle with anybody. But every hockey guy's scared, man. You get into a fight, scared.
Yeah.
Unless you do it every day and you're really, really good at it. Like you're just a guy who got into a fight. Like you're scared. There's no doubt about it. Your first game in the O against a big team, you're scared. In minor hockey, you're at a hockey tournament. You're playing Whitby, and you go out for warm up, and they got 3 6-footers, and you're in Pee Wee. You're scared. You're like, what? Right? Like I had everywhere, even 1 6-footer. You're like, where did that guy come from, right? Yeah. So I think it's natural and it's normal, but it's something that even for young kids, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be a little bit tentative, But I think to your point, as you get more confident and you're like, hey, that 6-footer's not that bad. I can handle this, just maybe don't let them line me up from center ice, but I can play here, And then all of a sudden, once you get that confidence, and man, things take off. Yeah. Did you have any kind of hot streaks this year where you felt like, because this has happened to me before, and you almost get like, I was not outwardly cocky about it, but in my mind, like everything I touch, I get a point. I'm sure I know Kyrou does this every second game, but
every
for you, like
scrimmage on Friday.
Yeah. No, did you go through any periods like that this year where like you felt good, like things were rolling, you're playing well, you're getting shots on net, like things like that?
Yeah. Right after the Christmas break, actually, I was playing with Newman and Noel, which are 2 top players, and I think I went on like a 5-game or 6-game point streak, and I was just feeling really good about myself, and the team success was good as well. So everyone was happy and feeling good. So
yeah, it's always tough when you like lose 5-2 and you had 2 points. You're like, boys, I got my cookies. I'm good. I'm going to see my dad and mom for dinner. It is fun, obviously, when the team's winning. And then for you, Christian, when you got up and played some games this year and kind of got into it, how long did it take you to kind of start feeling comfortable? Because I'm sure those first couple games, kind of like we talked about, a little bit nervous, a little bit like, okay, it's fast, probably looking over your shoulder a little bit more just to make sure you're, not getting hunted down as a defenseman, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the forwards are fast. I mean, right. So you gotta be like sharp if you're gonna play. Like there's older guys that are ready to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just gotta be like the best you can be. You just gotta like, you just gotta be like effective out there. You know what I mean?
No, definitely, and you gotta be quick. Like even their mind, right? Like if you pause for a second, you're in one, right? You're gonna be in contact or something like that. Do you remember what your first kind of game game was like when you even getting ready for it? Like how nervous were you? Were you you have butterflies going on? Or?
Oh yeah, I mean like the boys in the room, they did like a little clap and they're like, "Welcome to his first OHL game." Yeah. But yeah, I mean I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie, for sure. First OHL game, but I think I played solid first game.
Yeah,
and just
Did you find like every shift you got a little bit better? Like meaning first shift, you probably sat back down on the bench like, "Hey, got that out of the way." Like, you just 20 seconds, probably just dump, chase, get out, I'm out. But like, did you feel more comfortable as the game went on?
Yeah, I feel like by the third period, I was actually trying to like make plays. You know what I mean? Obviously it's my first game and like, first period, I was just like playing it simple kind of sort of thing. But, by the third period, I feel like I was actually like making good plays and like.
Yeah. No, and for, obviously listeners probably don't know, but, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm not a polished host yet. But Brett Harrison obviously plays for the Oshawa Generals and forward. So basically kind of a good 2A forward, can score goals, can put up points, but also good defensively. And first year in the OHL this year, and then Christian Kyrou, a defenseman, and kind of growing, popping off a little bit, but not a 6'5" defenseman yet, but very skilled, awesome on your edges, can create, very offensive. A lot of creativity in your game, obviously. So I think for you, because you said something here that I want to touch on, but you said with Erie, so got drafted the Erie Otters, and this year kind of split time in junior B around here, and then with Kamoka, and then obviously with Erie. But you said something about I started actually to try to make plays. And for anyone who's never played the game, like you've gone through it too here, sometimes you're not trying to make plays. You're just trying to get the puck off your stick into the zone. You know what I mean? Especially your first couple shifts of a new league or of a new game or come back from an injury, like. You'd love to try to make plays, but it's just you're nervous. You're just trying to get the feel back, so you're just dumping pucks in, or you're getting the puck and you're chipping it to the winger. Where making plays would be hanging on to it for that extra second, trying to drag a guy across and then making a play to a guy, or trying to drive the puck to the net, or things like that. So you're right. Like their first couple of shifts, I'm sure it was just on your stick, off your stick, right? Get the puck, move it, get the red line, dump it in, right? And then once you get more confidence, a little more swagger, then obviously that things start flowing a little bit better for sure. Now, like let's say after game 1, game 2, game 3, like did you start to kind of roll a little bit and kind of feel like, okay, I kind of belong here. Like this is, I'm okay here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like by game like 4 that I'm in, I was just like taking the puck and I was just taking off. I feel like I was just trying to get in the rush with the forwards and, just do something. So
yeah, no, it's good. And kind of try to add some offense there and stuff like that. Because one thing I find, man, when I see players, especially like at the, let's say the NHL level, that are coming out of the AHL, there's a big gap there between the AHL and the NHL. The AHL is very good. The top end players could play in the NHL. There's no doubt about it. But when you see a player play from the AHL to the NHL, I find some guys just go in and no problem. Like even your brother this year, like in the playoffs, I thought he played really well. I thought he skated well. His pace was good. I thought he looked really, really good. But I find, and he's played a bunch of NHL games before that, but I find when guys go in their first game, you can tell they're a bit nervous. You can tell it's a bit off, right? Yeah. But by game 5, 6, if they get a good chance to play, because I know sometimes, like, for you, if you're not sure you're going to get sent down after game 5 or game 6, it kind of sucks. You're always kind of nervous. You're always kind of on edge a little bit, right? Whereas here, a little bit different situation for you, where you knew you're probably going to be there all year unless, you really played like crap and they set you down. But for the most part, you're going to be there. So it allows you to get a little bit more confidence. And then you see after 5, 6, 7 games, now all of a sudden, man, that guy looks like an NHLer, or man, that kid looks like an OHLer. He's fitting in. He's getting confidence. He's getting, he's getting into that mold, And I think it's true for every league that when you jump up, whether it's going AA to AAA in minor hockey, or whether it's playing at a higher level in the OHL or the NHL. Going back to minor hockey real quick. I know, Brett, you played basically AAA from Adam all the way to minor midget, so you're one of those stuck-up snobby kids that played AAA all the way through, which is awesome, obviously. How many guys on that AAA team stuck from like Adam all the way to minor midget, roughly? Like what would that core group be, do you think? Even like whether it's London or Elgin or whatever, all the boys anyway, but like rough idea. Like let's say the roster at Adam would be, I don't know, let's call it 15 kids, roughly 15 to 17, right? Of those 15 to 17, how many would you say would have stuck all the way to minor midget? Or even if they bounced around a bit, but by minor midget, we're still playing AAA?
From my minor Adam team, I think there was like 2 or 3.
That's it, eh?
Like I think because Birdie, and I don't even know. Maybe like just 2 or 3 or 4. Like not a whole lot. And from I bounced to London in Major Bantam. Yeah. And I think there was like 6 of them that stuck from minor Adam all the way to minor midget.
Yeah. Because the reason I bring this up is because it's interesting, right? Because everyone feels like I got to play AAA in Adam if my kid's gonna ever play. Like he's got to get in there in Adam. And okay, if he's good enough for sure, and you don't mind the travel and he loves hockey, I think it's a good idea. But there's a lot of interchanging going on, and kids get better. And you probably saw kids come out of the woodwork like, man, he wasn't that good last year. Now he's like pretty solid, You see kids that mature or grow or get, bigger, stronger, things like that, And then Kai, for you with Elgin, do you like any rough idea of like kids that you remember from like the first couple of years to kids like that were on there kind of by the end?
No, I don't think I remember like 2 solid guys were on our team. Yeah. Just stuck the whole way through. Yeah. They're kind of like the core of our team.
Eric Smith.
Yeah,
Eric Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. It's not a lot though. Basically, it's like maybe 2, 3, 4 that interchange a little bit, that kind of stick through. Let's say it's 7, 8 year gap of time. Probably for 4 or 5 years, there might be 4 or 5 guys that stick the whole or in and out the whole kind of time, right? Now, I know we talked about this a little bit before, but I want to bring it up because I think it's important. But you got cut from AAA at one point. Like you played on Elgin, then all of a sudden new coach comes in, wants to change up the way they play. Whatever happens doesn't really matter. It's politics or whatever. But you get cut, which I'm sure leaving the rink wasn't like, oh, that's too bad. I'll get him next year. Like you were probably
I was fuming,
losing your mind. Yeah, exactly. And I know you very well. You're probably stomping your feet on the way out. This is not right. This is not good. No, but I mean anybody, man. I've been cut before. Like that's like feel like you let everyone down. It's embarrassing. Like you're just walking out of the rink. All your buddies are there. You just got cut. Like tomorrow I'm not coming back to practice. It's the worst, right? So I think that obviously sucks. But how did you take that and what did you do? Because obviously, we were talking about it, but like on that roster of guys, there's a couple guys still playing, obviously, and this isn't that long ago. You guys are young kids, but you're still playing and you're playing at a high level, right? So how'd you deal with it and kind of move through on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I went to Lambton in Sarnia. I just played there for 2 years, and I was just focusing on my personal training, like just off the ice.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to, I was like a later burst, so like it took me more time to get bigger and stronger.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, I was just focusing on my personal, like just like getting better every day, and like now, like you just look back at it, like was it really like the right play? I mean, like cutting me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
But do you think too that helped you become like a little bit of a stronger guy going through that adversity and getting cut?
Yeah, I feel like, I
gotta wake up here a little bit because there's a reason you got cut. Let's be honest. Like if you were the best defenseman on that team or the second best, and I know in your mind you were, but let's just say like this coach thought you were, right? Then you would have made the team. But for whatever reason, doesn't really matter. But I'm sure it was a bit of a wake up call. Okay, well, I got to get stronger. I'm not going to be right now. I'm not going to be a 6 foot defenseman. I got to like get my edges better. I got to get my hands better. Right. So was it a bit of a wake up call for you too? Just saying like, I got to go work on my stuff. I got to work on my fitness. I got to get stronger, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, you don't think I'm good enough? All right, well, I got to do more then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to do more than the guy that made the team. You know what I mean? So, like.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's important because I think a lot of times kids get cut and for whatever reason, like maybe another kid moved in or politics, this guy knows the coach really well and his kid makes team, my kid gets cut. And then we have excuses for everything, right? And the reason I brought that up and kind of grilling you a little bit, but is if my kid is the top 3 forwards on the ice on that team from last year and this year, then there's no way, if he's a good kid, if he's a bad kid, I'm a bad parent, then that's something different. But if he's a good kid and he's a good player, there's no reason he should get cut, really, right? But on the flip side of that, if my kid's a 6 forward, like a bottom 6 forward, then he's interchangeable, right? If he's a bottom 2, bottom 3D, and I'm not saying you were, but I'm just saying like there's guys that are interchangeable, and then all of a sudden you're like, no, buddy, you got to get better, man. You got to get stronger. Or hey, like Birdie's a good example of this. Like you're not growing. It's not your fault. Like you're going to grow. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get, same with you. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get stronger, right? But it's like owning it a little bit and then saying, okay, what can we do to get back on that team? What can we do to continue playing AAA and being effective? You know what I mean? And I think that's something that obviously you did and got back. You're still playing AAA, but it wasn't, the Elgin team wasn't the best team, but it was a team that you got tons of ice time, you got tons of development, you got a chance to work out, do all that stuff, which I think is huge. And one other question for you, how was your dad with the whole thing? Was your dad, because I know your dad's a hockey guy and I know I would have been rattled. Like if that was my son, I would have been really, really pissed. I'm sure he was pissed. But what were those kind of conversations like with him? Was it more like, okay, buddy, put your boots on, let's go, we got to go to work?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, we just turn back and just look at myself to just be like, you just got to get better personally. Like, forget about all these teams and stuff. Like, it's just like worry about you and like worry about like the next stage, like the OHL. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's huge, right? Is for both you guys, like minor hockey's awesome and it's a lot of fun, but what's the end goal? Yeah. Is it to win a championship in minor midget? Yeah. Like that's awesome if you do, but no, it's to try to go on and play, whether that's junior B or junior A tier 2 or the OHL or whatever, right? And then what's the next goal for you guys? Like, what do you want to do when you're done playing in the O?
Move to the NHL.
Obviously, right? Yeah. And I think it's good. There's no kid right now that just got drafted to the OHL or is playing his first or second year is like, I can't wait to get a job. Yeah. Right? Like, I can't wait to go to school and get a job. Like, no, everyone on that in the OHL rosters, most of them, 99% of them are like, I want to try to play pro. I want to go play pro. Yeah. Right? And I think that's totally fair. And same with you, Chris, the same question. Like, what do you want to do when you're done in the O?
Obviously, I want to go to the show.
Exactly. You want to punch my ticket to the show. Yeah. So now a question for you guys, kind of loaded a little bit, but start with you, Christian. How do you do that? Because a lot of times when guys get drafted at the NHL, the OHL, get drafted, and then, okay, now I'm playing. Okay, I just got to play my second year, my draft year. So a late birthday, I'll go their third year in the OHL. So let's say for you, it'll be your second year. I got to have a good second year, and then I'll punch my ticket to the NHL, right? And firsthand from your brother, it's not that easy, man. Yeah. He spent time in the AHL. He's been grinding it and still getting, tough, not tough, but like just still getting not criticized, but like still has stuff to work on. Still has, areas of his game that he's got to improve, right? So what are the steps, I'll start with you here. What are the steps to get from the OHL and try to achieve that goal to the NHL? Like what are, you're in the mix right now. So you've seen guys on your team that have gotten drafted. You have buddies that are playing in the NHL. You have guys you looked up to like Konechny that you see in the summers. Like, man, this guy's playing in the show. Like, what are the steps that you feel like, man, this is what I'm gonna have to keep doing if I want to ever play at a high level?
Yeah, I think just I'm just gonna go based off of the guys that were drafted to the NHL on my team this year, Oshawa. So so the guys they would come to the rink and be a pro. Like they would come in, get ready to work, go to the gym, like stretch before the workout and shoot pucks before the workout, and then when the workout started, it's just like focus the whole time. And then going from the workout to the skate, it's just like focus, like get on the ice early, work, ask coach, what do I need to work on to get maybe like come from line 2 to line 1 or or out of the lineup into the lineup. Like just ask coach, like what do I need to do better? And I think they just come to the rink with work boots on and just go to work.
Yeah. No, for sure. Now that doesn't sound like very much fun, but they do
fun.
have fun, right?
Yeah, obviously
No,
joke
I'm
around,
kidding.
like
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to music for
No,
sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it is, man, when you see guys that are like, you call it like I call it this all the time, but actual pro. You got guys that are drafted that are not pros. You have guys that are playing in the AHL that are not pros yet. They just don't get it. They're not tight with their food. They're not tight with their workouts, all that stuff. But you have guys in the even guys in minor hockey, they're pros.
Yeah.
Like they sleep, right? And they have fun. They do their thing,
100%.
pick their spots, but they're pros, right? And it's fun to be around those types of guys. And then for you, Kai, what are some things that you feel that you'll have to kind of focus on, or that you think they're going to be important for you to try to get to that next level? Now you've reached one level as far as playing, in the O and becoming, hopefully this year, becoming a steady in the O, and then moving up from there. What are some things that like you think, man, I got to make sure I dial this in and I got to keep doing this?
Yeah, I feel like just getting tips from other people saying like what you need to improve on. I feel like that could be huge. I mean, just like even if it's just a coach or another player that's just watching you play.
Yeah.
I feel like just getting tips from them and then just like working on that specific spot to get that better, and then going back to them and be like, what else can I work on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's huge to get that kind of feedback on your game, your fitness. Like, if a coach thinks you're maybe you're a bit overweight, like, oh, okay, like maybe I don't know, right? Or hey, you got to get stronger. Like, okay, like, so how do I do that? What do I do? And then getting people around you that can help you do those things. Cause I think it is huge. I think the other thing too, that really, I think separates pros is being able to like self-evaluate. And even for young kids, you ask a young kid, I had a kid on the ice the other day, awesome kid. We were working on, like, I was about to do some tips with him, like just tipping pucks. And I'm like, hey, how's your hand-eye? Like, how's your hand? Like, we were talking about this tipping pucks and how, it's awesome. I'm like, okay, great. Fired probably 30 pucks off the blue line, just little floaters, hit one. So I go up to him after, I'm like, hey, how's your hand-eye? He's like, I think it's got to get better. I'm like, yeah. But it's, one of those things where, and I love the answer at the beginning because it was like confidence. I was like, okay, this will be good, man. But if I shot 30 pucks hard to like a Bo Horvat, I bet you out of 30 pucks, he'd tip over 20, 25. It's unbelievable, man. Yeah. But it's not by accident. What does he work on? He works on net front play. He works on tips, right? Just like a defenseman. You get a defenseman like yourself, Christian, would walk to blue line. A good defenseman is going to hit the net 9 out of 10 times with little snappers, little floaters, right? Where, if defenseman's maybe not as good, maybe 5 out of 10. Well, it's not good enough. You got to, so I think being able to self-reflect and self-evaluate and say, okay, these are areas of my game I got to get better. And then when you do get that criticism from somebody where like, you got to become a better skater. Like, man, I'm sick at skating. Like, I'm awesome, right? Well, maybe there is an area that we can get better at, right? And well, what is that area? Like, what do you think? Well, your first 3 steps got to get better. Okay. And then, but being open to that kind of stuff, I think is huge for sure. And Harold, I'll go back to you. Who are some of the guys when you got to the OHL that kind of took you in as far as like just being a little bit of mentors? Doesn't have to be a draft picker, and it just could be a random person on your team, but were there 1, 2 or more guys that were just, because coming into a new team and you went through it in junior B and then in Erie, like it's a little bit intimidating at first, right? You got 19, 20-year-olds there. You're like 16, just trying to like fit in. And it's nice when you have an older guy come up to you and say, hey buddy, how's it going, man? Hey, and kind of protect you a little bit or help you out a little bit or make you feel more comfortable from being there, right? So was there anybody that kind of did that for you a little bit this year?
Yeah, for sure. Coming in just to training camp, you don't really know anyone. You're just coming into camp. But obviously, our captain, Kyle McLean, he was unbelievable guy. He's going to play AHL for Bridgeport this year.
Oh, good.
And he was unbelievable guy. He loved making jokes around me. So it was kept it loose, but obviously oh, how's it going? Like, and you just come meet all the guys. And I think he definitely helped me a lot. And even like Daniel Walker, he's like a kind of like a tough guy, I guess. He was but he was a really nice guy. And it was really helpful for me.
For sure. Oh, definitely. And one thing too, I'm going to ask you the same question, Christian, so you can think about it for a sec. But one thing I think that is important, I don't think we do enough of, but like if I asked you about 5 of your teammates on your team and I'd say, well, how many brothers and sisters do they have? You'd be like, because those are questions sometimes we don't ask a lot as hockey guys, right?
No.
I remember being on a bench one time. It was like third game of the season, and it was like goal scored by, Colton Smith. I'm like, his first name's Colton? We called him Smitty for like a month and a half, right? But I don't know if that's ever happened to you guys. But like you get on a new team or you get called up, you're like, everyone just calls him Moose. So like, all right. And then all of a sudden it's like, his name is, John, whatever. Like I didn't no idea his name was John, right? So I think like getting to know people, but asking more than just like hockey questions. And hey, what do you guys do in the summer? Hey, where do you work out? Or hey, you have brothers or sisters or whatever, but getting to know guys a little bit more is huge. And I think having older guys that are kind of extend that olive branch that are trying to make you feel more comfortable, I think is huge for sure. Yeah. And what about you, Chris? When you went up to kind of play in the O, you're coming into a team, a lot of guys know each other, a lot of buddies, obviously they've been there for a couple of years. Was there anybody that kind of stood out to you that kind of helped you out a little bit or?
Well, I feel like the younger guys, we just all created like a bond together because we all went to school and stuff. Yeah. I feel like we just created a really nice friendship, and we would do like workouts together every day and stuff like that. Yeah. So we would just like push each other.
That's like great. Yeah, no, it's awesome when you do have a crew like that though, right? Yeah. That everyone gets along good. You probably play video games at night, hang out, go to lunch or whatever, which is good for sure. But how were the older guys? Because it's something that came up the other day in another podcast I did. But is sometimes older guys on teams, and I'm not knocking them, and this is to me comes lack of leadership from up top. But sometimes you have older guys that aren't nice, man. They're assholes. Like they just treat young kid. They're hard on the rookies because someone was hard on them when they were young. Yeah. So we got to pick up pucks as a rookie. Sure, we got to bring our all the bags to the bus. We got to buy our vet his favorite magazine or his favorite whatever for the bus trip, whatever it is, right? Like that's okay, that's fine. But sometimes they're just over the top, right? Like don't talk to me, rookie. Don't talk, whatever. Speak when you're spoken to, like. And that does happen, man. And that's part of hockey culture. I'm not saying it's right. And my advice to all these older guys is think about it when you were 16. You didn't like it when that guy was bugging you about the color underwear you had or bugged you because your shirt sucked. You know what I mean? Like that's not fun, man. So don't do it to the young guys when you're that age. You know what I mean? And that'd be my advice to you two guys when you guys get to that age, because you see it. You guys have guys like that on your teams or, all everywhere, right? So don't, don't be that guy. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy, right? Yeah. But on the flip side of that, was there a couple older guys that were like kind of helped you out a little bit or kind of chatted with you a little bit? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like our captain, Jack Duffy, is a good guy. Yeah. He just guided me. If I had any questions, he was just like, yeah, come to me. And like Chad Yetman, our older guy too. Yeah. He was just like, yeah, just come to me if you have any questions. I'll help you out and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. It's so important though, right? Because it is an awkward situation when you first get in a locker room. Like, you don't know where to step. Can I step on the logo? Can I not step on the logo? Is that my garbage? Is that my garbage? Like, it's weird, right? So you're trying to navigate through without. I mean, I think the best description sometimes for young guys, unless you're a pretty outgoing and wild young guy, but you just want to be wallpaper. You just want to be like, don't bug me. I'll just sit here. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to work hard until you get comfortable, right? And then once you get comfortable, you can come out of your shell a little bit. But at first, you're just trying to like, not to make anybody mad. Just kind of, watching where you step and all that kind of stuff for sure. And then, so I guess moving forward for you guys, obviously this is a weird, really, really weird year as far as, we're going to be starting a little bit later. So what's the plan moving forward for you here as far as, just stick with your plan and kind of work, because now your off season kind of begins. It's weird because you had almost a double off season, right? Where you had the summer and then now we're getting into hopefully a couple months now here before the season or before camp gets started, I guess. So what's the plan for you kind of moving forward through the next couple of months?
So I'm going to be doing online school. So I'm just going to stick with the Oshawa school, so online. But obviously just going to keep skating here and working out here. So hopefully can keep continuing developing. And hopefully camp starts sometime in November and hopefully start OHL on December 1st as planned. So I'm just still going to keep training and trying to get better. Yeah, no, for sure. And for schooling, fortunately, right, you're able to do that at home. Like stay here and then just do your online schooling. Have you ever done online schooling before? Well, we did one course each year for Blythe. Right. But I guess just the end of last year. Do you like it, or is it? It's okay. Like, are you motivated enough to hammer on it, or do you kind of like let it slide for a week and like, oh man, then cram it? I think I might hammer down on it before I go to Oshawa, so I have less to do while I'm there. Just focus on hockey when I'm there. So I might just hammer down on it right now, and then just have less to do when I'm
Because I mean,
Oshawa.
realistically, like, what are your days consist of right now? Like, what do you got going on
I
right
got
now?
hockey and workout, golf. hang out.
Yeah, pretty sick actually.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No, it's awesome. I'm kind of jealous. And then what about you? What's your kind of plan moving forward? Are you able to do schooling online? Like, what's the plan? Kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my home school, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah.
So high school. So yeah, I'm just going to go there, and nothing changes here. I mean, just get to the rink, skate,
Yeah.
work out. I mean, obviously it's going to be later in the day, but
Yeah. And do you know what your like schedule is like for schooling? Because I know it's going to be different everywhere, but are you like in school 2 days a week? Is it 3 days a week? How does that work? Do you know?
yeah, they had it for 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, go to school.
Okay.
But they keep changing it now.
I know
so,
that's the thing,
yeah.
right? So yeah. And I'm sure we'll have a new plan coming up, but it's a bit of a mess. And what I'm getting at is like, you're going to actually probably have 1 or 2 days off a week of no school, right?
Yeah.
Which will give guys that are in school like that an opportunity to maybe, still, obviously you're going to be able to train even when you're in school, either before or after, but it's going to give, hopefully guys a little bit of a chance to kind of keep on it and stuff like that. And then when things start up again, then you hopefully, if everything's smooth and everything goes well, then you'll be moving back down to Erie. Is that kind of the plan to start?
Yeah, we still don't know where we're going for
Yeah.
the place because of the border and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So they're really strict about that. But yeah,
Because they were talking a little bit about some of the American teams potentially coming up, correct? And
Yeah,
playing like
yeah.
in Canada and just keeping the whole league in Canada, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Or I guess Ontario, but yeah. Yeah. There's so many moving parts still, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Blythe, and I know you guys both went to Blythe and kind of the Lemonades Hockey Academy, and kind of went to, for anybody, and everyone's kind of aware of this or familiar with this, but basically an all-in-one schooling and then hockey academy where you're on the ice, 4 days a week, work out 4 days a week and all that kind of stuff. I'll ask you first, Christian, but what was that like for you? I know it's a lot of people, man, he's going to burn out. It's a lot because you're playing minor hockey on top of that. So you're playing probably 2 practices a week, sometimes 3, 2 games a week, tournaments sometimes, right? What was it like for you doing something like that and committing to that much hockey?
yeah. Well, I feel like before I went to high school, I was like begging my dad to put me in this because I feel like all the boys were there and stuff. Like I feel like this is huge for me, right?
Yeah.
Even like the days, like if I have games or not, just go in, stretch, do like a nice warm up. So yeah, I feel like it was beneficial for me and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. And did you ever feel like, I know obviously it's a long year because you're doing it all the way from like school year, right? So September all the way to June. But were there times, like were there ever times where you did feel burned out or gassed, or overall was it pretty good? Because that's a question I get a lot, and I haven't seen a lot of our guys that have gone through the academy like that. And we try to tailor it back on weeks and have some fun weeks or 3-on-3 tournaments and stuff like that. Try to break it up. But did you ever have times where you're like kind of gassed, or was it not too bad?
Well, yeah, I feel like, waking up early in the morning, I feel like after school, I would always just take a nap because I was just gassed, right, from the morning and stuff.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I feel like some days I was burnt out. The next
Yeah.
day I would just go in, just take it easy, just stretch. Just get back on that line. Because I had games on the weekend, every weekend.
So kind of, yeah. And I think that's a good piece of advice, even just to like kind of monitor your body, right? See how your body feels. If you need a nap, take it. If you're tired, sleep in a little bit, or you know what I mean? If you're going to just miss a workout and stretch, like do that, right? And I think it's important to kind of read your body and make sure that you're doing the right things for sure.
Yeah.
And what about you, Harry? What was your experience like kind of having that much as far as the training and the hockey and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. If I went to a regular high school and not Blythe, I don't think I'd be where I am today. Like every morning, just being on the ice with battling hard, obviously every skate, just getting better and in the gym every day. So yeah, I think it really helped me, and I think it helped me like throughout that year, minor midget year, just gaining skills and like to all the other players that weren't doing that extra skill, I think it's just getting to the next step.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I think like that's the biggest thing is, and a lot of players will do like skill development at night, which is awesome. Like all that stuff is great. There's no doubt about it. It's kind of nice having it all done from like 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And then you go home at night and you can have a nap because you've worked out, you skated. If you don't have practice that night, you can chill or get homework done or whatever, which is obviously a nice thing to have. And also too, I think the years that you guys were here, we had a really good crew of players. Like guys are motivated, guys want to go on and play and push each other. Everyone got along pretty well. Like it was, and I think that's important too, is finding a good culture, right? That you go to that it's going to be fun, and you're going to get pushed and you're going to, you can't really just cheat all the time, or you can't not show up. You know, people are going to hold you accountable. And I think it's good. And then you do see everybody getting better when you have a group like that, you know, which is cool. And we're fortunate this summer we saw a lot of you guys back, you know, training and skating, and it's nice to see guys having places to go play. And, you know, if everything clears up with the hockey season and stuff, but everyone's kind of moving on, and which is awesome for sure. One thing I if you had to go back right now, so kind of I don't want to keep you guys here all day, but I really appreciate you guys coming out here. If you had to go back and kind of talk to yourself, I know you guys are young. You guys are 17 years old, so it's not like you're old wise men yet. But if you had to go back and kind of talk to yourself at like 12, even 13, so let's say like that Pee-wee, you know, U10 or U12, U13, kind of a couple years out of playing junior hockey and stuff like that. Is there anything that you tell yourself then that you know now? So you've gone through it a little bit now, but is there anything that you'd say, like, could be anything? Hey, you got to work hard, or hey, make sure you dial in your food, or, you know, don't be so cocky, or whatever it is, right? Like, is there anything that you would go back and say, hey, heads up for this?
I think my biggest advice would just be like watch hockey, just like even the playoffs, just like it's just watch what players are doing and just try to adapt that to your game, because those are obviously the top guys and obviously getting points every night in the NHL. So yeah, I think, or even just watching yourself, like if someone videos your game, just watch yourself play and be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I should have did this, and maybe I would have got a scoring chance or something like that. But yeah, obviously just watching games and yeah, just the mental part is a big part of the game now. So
I think that's a really good piece of advice. I don't think enough kids watch games right now, and hockey IQ is something that you can learn a little bit. Like some kids have it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But I think, and both you guys have good hockey IQ, but I think the more you watch and the more you dissect games and look at like how goals are scored.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to rewind the thing 7 times to see how the goal scored, but when you watch a goal being scored, don't look at the puck go in the net. Look at how that D picked, you know, or how that D shot the puck at the guy's stick so he tipped it, or how that guy found the lane to make the pass across to hit the shot or whatever. Like, I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, like we do video like probably an hour a day in Oshawa.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really beneficial. I think it really helped me this year as well. Just seeing we watched the other team like before the games and see their pre-scout or whatever. But even just watching myself, like just like I shouldn't have been in that spot, I should have been over here. I think it helped me a lot.
And for you here, when you're watching yourself, like, you know, you're watching game tape or whatever, let's say you just played the game, you get off, you're getting undressed. Like, man, I played pretty good. Like, an assist, it was +2. Like, I was on the power play a bit. Like, felt, man, I think I played well. And then you watch your shifts. Are there ever times you're like, oh my, like, I was terrible? Like, when you look at certain shifts.
Yeah. Like when I think I play really good, I go back and watch the shifts. I'm like, oh, I was okay tonight. Like I wasn't as good as I thought. And then when I think like, oh, I was terrible tonight, and I watch my shifts, I was like, oh, I wasn't even that bad. I made a couple nice passes here and a couple of nice plays.
Yeah.
Like I think it's a little bit opposite what I think.
It is important though, because I think sometimes you're like, coach, you got to move your feet. You got to move your feet. I'm like, I skated all game, man. Then you look at the video, you're like, oh my, it's gliding everywhere. I missed my check here. Like I think it is very educational to watch yourself play, because you're like, okay, I wasn't as good as I was, or as I thought, or man, I made a couple good plays that I like, and I want to, and also learning from it and saying I want to be more like that and less like that clip. You know, I want to, you know, trying to change your game a little bit for sure. Yeah. And then for you, Christian, kind of same question. Like, if you had to go back and talk to yourself, you know, at 10, 11, 12, or even 11, 12, 13, doesn't matter, but what would you tell your younger self as far as like, hey, look out for this, or hey, tighten this up?
I'd feel like, you know, outside of hockey, just like being a good person, like around the rink, just like, I feel like that's just huge, man. Like these days, like our coaches are teaching us like to be a good person, like outside all training and stuff. Just like, yeah, it's just like you want to be a good person in life, and like I feel like hockey could help with that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, definitely. You guys actually knocked that question out of the park, both of you. I did not see it coming. I'm a little bit taken back right now, but those answers were sick. But to your point, I think it's funny, man. We talk about this all the time. Like, and that I think starts from parenting, like from parents. And I think it starts at like 3 years or 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. Like, you know, you got to say no to your kids sometimes. You know, you got to get your kids to pick up their garbage. Because, man, you see it at the rink. You guys see it all day in the OHL and stuff. Like, guys breaking sticks, don't care. Guys like being rude to fans, whatever, right? Like, so I think to your point, I think it's huge, man. And that is being a pro. That, not to say you can't goof around, have fun, like be silly for sure, but being a good person, like saying please and thank you. Like, I think those are big, big things. And if you meet any, like, think of who's your favorite pro right now, or who's one of the guys you love in the NHL.
Like Bergeron.
Okay, like I mean, I don't know him at all. Anything I've ever
even like Horvat, like he's
you kind of know him or seen him. Like, couldn't ask for a nicer guy and a more like solid dude, really, right? But I'm sure Bergeron, same thing. Anything you hear about this guy, he's like the best teammate ever. He's unbelievable. Who do you love? Like, who are some guys that you love kind of watching, or like guys in the NHL that you kind of.
When I went up to St. Louis.
Perfect.
Yeah, for my first couple games, like I met Pietrangelo, and like he might have been the nicest guy I've ever met, man. Like obviously his game's elite and stuff, but like off the ice, man, he's such a good guy. Like it's actually insane.
Well, and you'd have some firsthand knowledge as far as your brother being around the team for a long time, like for last couple years basically. And I'm sure there's those are true, like Pietrangelo, true pro. Like that guy's a pro. You know what I mean? He's won a cup. He's captain of the team. He's unbelievable, right? Like, so I think and that's the thing. Like, that's why I love your answers. I just think be a good person, and I think being a good person is one thing, but then surrounding yourself with good people as well, right? Like we all have buddies that are complete nut jobs, and I love hanging out with them. But maybe I don't need to hang out with them 5 days a week, because guaranteed 4 days a week I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah,
like even just like hanging around the people that have the same goal as you. Like if some people like they don't have like a goal in life. Like you want to like have people with like high standards and just like want to get higher in life. So
totally. And I think that's exactly. Because when you're with a bunch of guys like that like doing push-ups and eating chicken breasts, and you have that guy that's with you that likes McDonald's and crushing movies all day, like that doesn't work. No. Because every time you go to do a push-up, he's gonna rip on you, right? Or you know what I mean? Like, so you want to be around guys that like are going to be, now your buddies may still rip on you, but it doesn't matter. But like, you want to be around a bunch of guys or girls that are kind of pushing you the right way, for sure, man. I want to go back to this real quick. We had a text chain going on the one day. It was the three of us, and we were talking about, I think it was maybe a scrimmage or something you guys were going to come out to. And I was like, yeah, you guys can come out. And I think you were going to skate in both, and Kai wasn't because D was his ride or something like that. Yeah. And then you got on, him. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I was like, oh. I was like, oh, you can't come? Like, oh, he was like, do you want to be good or you want to be great? It was like, that was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to be good, you go home. If you want to be great, you stay. Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, this is wicked. Like, yeah, but just stuff like that. But again, like, you guys are good buddies. And I bring that up because you guys are good buddies, but you ended up staying. You played both, right? Yeah. No, but that's the kind of stuff, like that little bit of a push, right? It's like, if I got to go for a run tonight on my own, no problem. But man, there's some days I'm not going. Like, but if I had a buddy saying, hey, like, we're going, I'll meet at 5, we're going for a run, I'm in. I got to go, right? Yeah. So just having a bit of that motivation, having those guys around you that can help you on those days that you do suck. You're like, I don't want to go. And I know that's not why you weren't coming, it's because you ride, but still, like, kind of push you a little bit to figure it out and say, okay, I got to figure out how to stay.
Definitely. I mean, like me and Harry, you just feed off each other over just like dialing in, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why, like, that's just like something that's like huge for us, like,
yeah, even like the Blythe scrimmages, there's always a huge battle.
Oh yeah. There's
gets
a lot
heated
of,
a little.
Yeah,
a couple times.
It was good. There's some good fire. There's a couple like big droopy lips with poopy diapers while skating off the ice. Hey, Kai. One other thing though, I wanted to chat just quickly about kind of other stuff that you guys do, because obviously we talked a lot about hockey and that's a big part of your lives, obviously. But what other sports did you play growing up, Christian? Like, did you even with buddies or anything else that you kind of like doing or that you were kind of gravitating to as far as sports?
Yeah, I mean, elementary school, I was a basketball guy. So yeah, I was just like, what's with that face here? Yeah, no,
were you a shooter or were you?
I was a point guard. Yeah,
for sure.
So, yeah.
Just
I was a huge role for the team.
So dropping threes, eh?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like basketball, I like to play. I like to play soccer for fun too. Yeah. And, it's like trying other sports is just good too. Yeah,
for sure. I know you're still doing the cheerleading or no?
No,
you're done.
No, yeah. I don't think that started, but.
All right. And what about you, Harry? What other sports did you play growing up?
I was a big baseball guy. Yeah. I played for the London Badgers AAA team. I just quit a couple years ago. I loved baseball. I did it like almost every day. It was like hockey, baseball, like almost every day. So yeah, I was definitely busy, but I love baseball.
And so when you got to that age of like basically kind of making a bit of a decision, probably like, and did you have like a number one, or was it like a A1 or 1A, 1 or 1A, 1, 2? 1A, 2, I guess, I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like they were kind of like this. Like you love in the summer you love ball, and then the winter you loved hockey. Was it kind of like that?
Yeah, I was kind of like that, but obviously I think hockey was always number one for me.
So when you had to kind of make that decision, what happened? Like was it the baseball coach saying, "Hey, you can't miss provincials anymore. You can't miss tryouts anymore," because, or you know, was somebody putting the push on you a little bit to do it, or was it something that you did on your own? Just said, you know what, I'm gonna make a.
Yeah, it was like baseball was becoming like all year round, like training in the winter and training and obviously playing in the summer. Yeah. And then because I would have to miss so much baseball in the winter because of hockey, so I just said like I think hockey, like I think I could have a better career in hockey and I like it a little more, so I'm just gonna stick with that. And
yeah, no, it's cool. And I know it's a tough decision for sure. Did you get any pushback or any like backlash from any like? Was it pretty smooth? Like
no, it was pretty smooth. Everyone was good about it. Yeah, my parents were obviously good about it as well. So it was good.
Oh, it's good. Yeah. That's cool. And for you, kind of growing up, you know, was there like as far as playing other sports and stuff like that? But like, how competitive were you and your brother in like just playing sports like around the house? Because he's a couple years older than you, obviously, so probably has the upper hand. But how competitive was that kind of growing up?
Oh man, ladies, let me tell you about the mini stick battles we had when we were younger. It was insane. We had like a nice setup downstairs. Yeah. We would just have series. Like we would be different teams and we would just have series and we would just play for like 2 hours straight.
Really, eh?
Oh yeah, full contact too.
Full contact, nice. So like lots of bumps and bruises, torn jogging pants,
maybe. Yeah. On a bad day.
Yeah. Now, would you guys just go one-on-one or would you have like buddies over too that would be playing too?
Yeah, I mean, we had cousins that would come over and play too. Yeah. So like they would just be in the net, and me with him just go straight one-on-one, just like battles.
I love it. That's awesome, man. That's good. Well, listen, boys, I appreciate it, man. This is really, really good, and wish you both the best of luck. I hope this season can start, man. I know it's gotten pushed back, but hopefully everybody can get rolling again, and then you guys will get a chance to get going again. And just real quick to kind of cap it off, but. Let's say the OHL starts in December and things can roll through January and go through the rest of the year. I know it'll be a condensed season, obviously, but I know the goal for the NHL and the OHL and all the leagues is to try to catch back up so we can start September again. So kind of have a shortened season, which means there's probably going to be an NHL draft next year, right? So, and that would be your draft year, correct?
Yes.
Here, so if you guys play December, January, February, then that's going to be your draft year, basically, to be scouted and looked at. And is it yours as well, or with the later birthday, do you push to the following year?
Yeah, I pushed to the following year.
Okay, so what's the date of your birthday?
September 16th.
Oh, you got it by a day.
Yeah.
So September 15th, for anyone who doesn't know, September 15th is the cutoff for the NHL. So, for instance, Harry's birthday is before that, so he's going to be drafted or could potentially get drafted to the NHL this coming year. And then for Kai's same age or same birth year, but Kai is born after September 15th, so by a day, which is, I think his dad planned that, but whatever. And so now he can go in next year, like the following year, which is awesome because that gives, you know, for guys that are late, because you do notice it sometimes, especially with like a October or a November, December birthday. Sometimes it's, you know, you catch your growth spurt late, all this kind of stuff. But anyways, it gives you an extra year basically to play in the O, which is cool, and an extra year to develop, which is awesome too. So, oh, it's great. Well, it's awesome, man. Thanks a lot, boys, and best luck with training and hit the books, okay? Straight A's, right?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, boys.
Thanks,
Blazer.
All right. To kind of raise that bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.